Hello there guys, welcome back to Younes Talks Football, welcome back to a brand new video. I hope all of you are doing well today, as today you guys are blessed with a double upload. We're going to do this later on. Make sure you are here for my preview to Fulham versus Chelsea. And yeah, it means Chelsea have to look to take momentum from that Carabao Cup game where they knocked out Brighton and see if they can get some sort of, string of wins going, which has not been seen at Chelsea for a very long time now. So we're going to get into the preview later on. Make sure you guys are here for that. To be here for that, you have to make sure that you are hitting the subscribe button. Hit the notification bell as well to be notified once I have uploaded, and check out all the socials. They are on screen and in the description for you right now. Much appreciated. But first topic at hand that needs to be discussed this morning, which I would have done yesterday if I had the time, but I'm doing it this morning instead. Regardless, I'm doing it because it needs to be said. This has gone too far. What has gone too far? The referees and the standard of referees in this country are now taking the mick, right? To put it bluntly, you guys are now starting to take this a little too far. This is getting stupid now. And it needs to be said. And I feel like now there's some momentum in terms of people coming out and speaking. I think it's only right and fair that more add on to the topic, because this needs to be acknowledged if we're going to try and change our game, at least back to what it was. We used to have a certain standard in this country in terms of referees. Referees used to be well respected from this country. And now we're seeing just absolute incompetent, stupid, sometimes you look at it and think deliberate. You're thinking, you can't be that dumb. It can't be this bad by just pure stupidity. You guys are doing this on purpose. And you have to ask the question, maybe some are. This is where we need control. We need the bodies, the PGMOL, to be able to look at these situations and take action. They're not taking action. And we're going to go through the exact examples of what we saw yesterday that I think has taken everyone over the edge. And we're going to discuss. So, what happened yesterday? Tottenham versus Liverpool. I got to be completely honest and fair. I said it at full time, obviously not on here, but after watching the game and I was like, Liverpool have been robbed. Liverpool have been robbed. I don't want to come on and say Liverpool have been robbed. As a Chelsea fan, it's Liverpool. Realistically, as, banter, we're going to laugh. They got robbed, but we have to be real. From a neutral, non-biased perspective, as a football fan, this is stupid. Liverpool were absolutely done yesterday. And not just on one occasion. This is where it gets crazy, because we're going to run through the examples. We're going to run through exactly what went down. And then I'm going to address what everyone's quick fix seems to be, which I don't think is a quick fix. Let's get into it. So, what went down yesterday? Let's get right into it. Starting off with Luis Diaz's goal. VAR officials reviewed Luis Diaz's goal against Spurs without marking lines during the build-up. beIN Technology have released this picture of the disallowed goal. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy that a channel, a TV network like beIN Sports, are able to draw their own lines and VAR somehow messed that up. The ones with the technology to put the lines on and see, the ones that are meant to check the decision, are the ones that cannot get the lines up on the screen, or if they do, they ignore it. It's bonkers. beIN Sports put the lines up on the screen. This clearly demonstrates that Luis Diaz was miles onside. Miles onside. And how that has not been seen, because Luis Diaz went on to score, it was a goal, it was disallowed. We move to this. Turns out VAR did have it on screen at some point, somehow. Or was this done by beIN Sports? But I think it's being done by VAR. So how has this been ignored? Look at this. This was checking disallowed goal. VAR screen. Clearly, the lines are there. The lines are there. There's Luis Diaz's red line. There's the last defender's green line. Salah passes the ball. It's on. How has that not been given? It's incredible. Then, because, and it wasn't just that, we had the Curtis Jones red card, which people would say, obviously, red card. Jota got sent off. In the space of 2 minutes, he received 2 yellows. Now, the second yellow, as far as I'm concerned, was a yellow. But the first yellow, not even a foul. It's incredible. The Curtis Jones one, people can argue in the same context of Malo Gusto. So for me, it's not a red. For some others, they'll see and they'll go, no, but the contact was made in the studs. Like, it's a leg breaker. Much like Malo Gusto, there's certain challenges that it's just impossible to retrieve from. It's impossible to pull yourself out of. It's just impossible. The laws of physics does not allow. There's a risk at football. It's a contact sport. You're going to get hurt. Look, the tackle goes in, the ball is taken. There's a follow through, but the time that it takes for the player to realise the follow through and take action to move away is the contact's going to be made. It's impossible. In that context, there isn't the intent to harm the player, and there isn't an intent to, break a leg or anything like that. After having won and retrieved the ball first, it's a clean tackle. You're going to get hurt. It's a contact sport, like I said. So if the ball has been taken first and the tackle is clean, then afterwards there's a repercussion within the time frame that it's impossible for the player to take action and take back a leg, then it's not a foul. It's not a foul. So in Curtis Jones's case, much like Malo Gusto's case, shouldn't even be a foul. If you're going to give a foul for it, okay, give a foul. But it's not a red. Come on. It's not a red. Anyone that gives a red has not played the game. Doesn't understand that those situations happen in football. It happens. Now, if you don't go for the ball and you go straight studs in, or you go for the ball, you take the ball, you keep your leg up for like a second or two, and then you make contact with the player, I'm sorry, you had time to pull your leg back. That's an offence. It's basic common sense. But no, it's crazy. Jota, first yellow card, as far as I'm concerned, doesn't even commit a foul, right? Second yellow was stupid of Jota because he's now knowing he's on the yellow, then he goes in for a challenge like that. Like, that's kind of half on you. But he shouldn't have been in that predicament of being sent off in the first place. So Liverpool were completely done yesterday. After the game, the PGMOL acknowledged. Immediately after the game. Immediately they acknowledged. Here it is. Following the PGMOL acknowledgement of a human error in the Spurs vs Liverpool game, VAR officials Darren England and Dan Cook will not be in charge of officiating next week. So this is basically what it's come down to. What it's come down to now is the PGMOL simply acknowledged there was a human error. How can you have a human error with VAR? How is that possible? You got the tech and everything in place to know for a fact what the decision should be, and you still mess it up. Now, much like the BBC have said, they've confirmed it. The PGMOL have taken a decision on Darren England's duties for today's Premier League game. Dan Cook, assistant VAR for Tottenham vs Liverpool, has also been replaced as assistant referee for Fulham vs Chelsea. You know what's crazy? And I'm going to actually run you through what's happened this morning, and then we're going to go straight into what should be done and what they've decided to do and how much of a farce it is. The PGMO's chief, Howard Webb, will meet Simon Hopper, Darren England and Dan Cook to address the VAR error during Luis Diaz's disallowed goal and prevent similar incidents that could impact match outcomes and the title race. Also, there is a contemplation of implementing a VAR procedure where the referee and VAR official would explicitly communicate the decision to each other after stating VAR check complete to improve transparency and decision-making clarity. Listen. Everything that they've said or they are looking to do does not fix the problem. PGMOL are going to remove these referees that took place yesterday, that were in charge yesterday, for what? One game. How is that going to fix the problem? The problem with this isn't the VAR. Now, we're going to address what people are saying is the quick fix. The quick fix is get rid of VAR. We've had enough. Get rid of it. Look, I used to be one of those, right? And I used to think, now, you know what? VAR is overcomplicating the situation and making it tougher for referees to come to a decision because now there's certain elements and detail. It goes too fine into the detail for you to make a correct or incorrect decision. I used to think that. The problem isn't the VAR. The problem is the referees using the VAR. The problem is the referees on the pitch. The problem is the referees running the boards. That's the problem. The problem are the personnel, not the technology. VAR, because look, let's take a hypothetical situation here. We get rid of VAR, what happens? You're going to end up with these same clowns in charge of games, and this time they have an excuse. I made a mistake. Sorry guys. It happens. Much like we used to, if you remember. Whenever, someone used to be onside, they used to say it's offside, then you realise later on, made a mistake. Man, what a shame. Move on to the next one. Human error. Because it can happen. Without the tech, it can happen. No, I don't want to go back to that situation. Why? Because there was a clear example in the Chelsea versus Brighton game in the Carabao Cup where VAR was not in use. And we saw the refereeing performance in that game. And what happened? We were criticising. We were going, bloody hell, this referee doesn't know what he's doing. We're going to end up in the same situation, except this time we ain't got anything to back ourselves up with. This time it's just human error. It can happen when the tech's not there. I'm afraid it can happen. You're opening the door for referees to make more mistakes. That's just the reality. The problem is the referees. We have incompetent, crazy, really bad referees in this country now. And it's bonkers. And it's not just that. There's no control. There's no actual review, and there's no repercussions of mistakes like this. What's the repercussions? The referee misses a match day. You're giving him a day off. That's all you're doing. And what, is he paid for it? Even if he's not paid for it, even if he's paid per match. He's missed a day. Wow. That's not exactly going to do much harm for him, is it? What it is going to do is just sweep everything under the carpet, and he's going to come back in 2 weeks' time, he's going to ref another game, and he's going to make the same mistakes. Or the people in charge of VAR are going to make the same mistakes. The problems are the referees who are not competent to be able to ref at this level. Or they're doing it on purpose. One of the two. It's either they're ignorant and they're stupid, or they're doing this on purpose. Second of all, the PGMOL. Howard Webb. There's no control. There's no repercussion. Them lot should be looking at a situation like this and looking at the referee, the VAR in charge, and going, you're suspended. You're suspended. You're suspended. We don't need you for the season. You're suspended. Other referees will look at that and go, flipping hell, man. No, I don't want to be suspended. I've got to feed the kids. Even the VAR, the assistant VAR, even them, you're suspended. A decision like yesterday, you're suspended. Simple as that. It doesn't just cut it by giving the team that has suffered the consequences an apology and that's it. It's done. No, it's not done. But the problem with that is that the PGMOL are not implementing that. Howard Webb is not implementing that. And let's be honest, Howard Webb had his fair share back in the day, didn't he? Alex Ferguson. We don't need to go there. It's obvious. If you were there and you were watching Man United back in the day, you know the whole Howard Webb story. Simple as that. And what's crazy is that he used to be an ex-copper. So it's bonkers. You think, discipline, rules, going by the book. Nah, not happening. He's now in charge of the PGMOL. And to be fair, Howard Webb, back in his day, was actually somewhat of a decent ref. It was just Man United. Apart from Man United, he was actually a decent ref. Let's be honest. But even, we had the situation back in the day with Graham Poll going to the World Cup and giving 3 yellow cards. I mean, if you remember. We've always had some sort of an issue, except now it's gotten worse. Now it's not just 1 or 2. Now it's a whole bunch of referees that don't know what they're doing. The solution needs to be, this sort of thing happens, these refs are suspended. We don't need you at this level. We don't need you. You're clearly incompetent. That needs to come from the PGMOL. And then, go and get some nice, fresh, young referees that are reffing at lower levels that you can see are ready to make the jump to Premier League, to elite level, and keep your eyes on them. That's it. Keep the VAR in place. Anyone that makes a mistake, you're going to suffer the repercussions. If you make a mistake, that's simply just a mistake, like a very, very small, minuscule mistake. It can happen. On the pitch, not with VAR. I'm talking about the on-the-pitch referee. But in terms of the VAR, there's no excuse. You've got all the tech, you've got the replays, you've got the lines, you've got everything in place to be able to make correct decisions. If you mess it up, you ain't ready to use it, you don't belong here. Simple as that. The problem is the PGMOL won't do that. So what the solution is, right now, get rid of people in the PGMOL that are running the PGMOL, that are in charge in the PGMOL. Get rid of all of them. The FA need to intervene. This is on Prince William, and because he's the president of the FA. This is the people, the chief executives. This is on people in the FA, but they're not going to do that either, are they? Why? Because we even have a problem with the FA, don't we? It's rotten from top to bottom. It's rotten. This structure we have in place right now and the people that are there, it's rotten. This is why we're not going to see a change. It's key what the solution is. It's obvious what the solution is. Get rid of these people. Done. Get some competent, fresh blood in that's going to do the job properly. That's it. And use the technology properly. And if we need to, and this should be coming from the FA and from the PGMOL, there should be a thing where everyone can hear the communication between the referee and the VAR when a decision is being made. Make it clear, make it transparent, so everyone's held accountable. Make referees have to hold press conferences, much like managers and players do. Bring them to the press conference as well. Make sure they get interviewed. Make sure they get their say across, and we get to understand the transparency of the decisions that have been made. We're not getting any of that. Who does that come from? The FA, the PGMOL. Simple as that. So the problem isn't the VAR. The problem is the referees that's here. That's in the job. The PGMOL that are not controlling those referees. And people that are not controlling the PGMOL. It's stemmed from top to bottom. It's wrong. As long as that doesn't change, we're going to continue to see crazy decisions like this. And it's just this country, because when you go to other countries and you see the refereeing standard, don't have this problem. The only problem that you find in other countries that we don't really have here is match fixing. That can happen in other countries, and that, whether that's down to one individual referee or it's down to a relationship between a club and a footballing body or whoever, right? That's a separate story for a different day. But that's sometimes the only issue you really have in other countries. When you take it to the actual refereeing performance, you see some great referees from Germany, from Holland, Spain, Italy, France. You see some top refereeing, and they don't take any crap, and they go by the law of the book, and they do things fairly. We don't have that here. We have a bunch of clowns looking for attention. It's just incredible. It's incredible. So don't get rid of VAR, because that's just going to make it worse. With these referees in place, it's only going to make it worse. And trust me, you're going to be finding yourself smashing your heads against a brick wall, because we're going to have 105 human errors every single game without any sort of accountability or without any sort of way of the referees knowing at the time during the game that they've made a mistake. At least this way they know, and look at the repercussions. Look at the discussion we're having. Action needs to be taken. But it comes from changing these referees in the Premier League, changing these referees at this level, changing people that are running the PGMOL if they're not going to grow a backbone and punish the referees that are making these sort of ridiculous mistakes, and people at the FA that are not going to change the PGMOL or people running that if those people are not going to take the correct action. It's as simple as that. That's what needs to happen. So, let me know your thoughts down below. Absolutely incredible. And the problem is, look, before I end, you can come up with a list of referees that you have a problem with. It's very easy. Everyone can name multiple referees in this league, past and present, that have just been incompetent and continue to be incompetent. Very easily. Very easily. Do you have that in other countries? Probably not. Crazy. Let me know your thoughts down below. Much appreciated. And I will see all of you later on for video number 2, which is, as I've said, going to be the preview to Fulham versus Chelsea. So make sure you are subscribed. And we're going to get into the nitty-gritty to see how Chelsea can pick up 3 points despite suspension, players not playing, this, that, and the other. So make sure you're here for that. Leave all your comments in the comment section below. I want to hear all of your thoughts in regards to this and, the repercussions of the fallout from yesterday's game between Tottenham and Liverpool. Much appreciated. Don't forget to check me out on the socials. They are in the description and on screen right now. Instagram, X, and TikTok. Much appreciated. And I will see all of you later on for video number 2. Have a good one, people. I'll see you lot then. Take care and peace.